Hello and welcome to another episode of The Rundown. I'm your host, MaryCatherine. This is the show where we dive deep into how the news you watch every day gets made. And today I have two special guests to talk about how we're honoring Black history. We have Special Projects producer Lindsey West and 8 News anchor Deanna Allbrittin here. Hello, guys.
Hey.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks so much for having us.
Of course.
We're excited.
You were so excited.
Yeah. And notice I'm wearing a different dress for once. I think I did like 3 rundown shows where I happen to wear the same dress every single time.
Well, it's my favorite color, so that's why you must have done it. So we are doing something special again this year. It's the second annual 8 News art exhibit to honor Black history at Artworks in Richmond. Tell us a little bit about what's going on down there.
Well, I'd first like to say that we spoke the second year into existence by just calling it the inaugural and first annual art exhibit last year. And our news director, Bernie, noted at the opening last year, he's like, well, I guess we're doing this the second year. And we're like, oh, really? Yeah. And he's like, well, you called it the inaugural and the first annual one. So it seems like, yeah.
We have to now.
So here we are, year 2.
Yes.
That's amazing. Is there anything different this year from last year?
So much.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm going to pull up some video from last year.
So Exhibit A to show you.
Exhibit A, let me
Walk
press
back
the
in
play
time.
button. Yes.
So this is what we looked like last year, a little throwback.
Yes.
This is where the art exhibit happens, is at Artworks in Manchester on Hull Street. But you'll be able to see in just a moment.
Lindsey.
Oh, there's Lindsey right there. You can see like the folks who came out for our opening reception last year, and you can see part of that exhibit behind folks. It's a lot of quick cuts and everything, but it was really just like this one L-shaped wall that we had at at Artworks, and like it was very much hard scrabble, right? Like you and I were at thrift stores looking for frames. We pulled a lot of frames off of my like literal walls of my home to like get this done last year.
That's
yeah,
awesome.
so you can see this is about the whole space you just saw that the exhibit inhabited last year, but this year, Lindsey once again is like a shoot for the moon, land among the stars sort of person. So. She's the one who came to me and was just like, oh yeah, Jesse asked if we could just like do the whole like front gallery.
Wow, that's awesome.
Here we are.
So we have like a few more walls.
Okay.
And it's kind of like an all-encompassing space. Last year we really were just kind of like, so here's like a preview of what we're doing this year. But don't let this stop you from coming out.
Yeah, please come
see
on.
it in person. It makes a big difference.
Yeah.
So yeah, we have like 2 whole additional sections. Last year we were kind of, again, because we were doing everything so last minute, we were held to just one little corner in the gallery, but because we had been prepping and planning for like, or at least thinking about it for at least a year now since the last one, we have the whole front gallery, which is it's an honor and it's really exciting. Another thing that's different, you can see there's a lot of like different media than photography. So we are partnering with the Black American Artists Alliance of Richmond, and we curated our works alongside theirs. So a lot of the photography that you're seeing from our photojournalists is paired with artists from BAR.
And we did that for a reason. Like when we met with Muzi Branch, who is over that collective of artists, he talked about, he like really did a great job of distilling what we were trying to do by partnering with Black artists in the region. And that's that one view looks in and another looks out. And so we really wanted to explore and invite people to explore the shifting perspective between journalists who are often said to be recording the first rough draft of history, and then the artists who reinterpret that first draft of history, who explore different perspectives on that history and narratives, and are able to visually display it in a different way. And so we really wanted to do that, and you'll see, especially on some of these walls, like the one you're seeing now, where we really are actually inviting people to stand side by side and explore how we are looking back at history, but also how these artists are doing so too.
Yeah, that's really cool. And excuse me. One of the things I love about this project, and I was telling Lindsey before we started recording, is that she challenged last year our videographers to take still photography, which is something that they don't normally like do every day, because obviously our work is so much about video and what video can show. And sometimes they'll whip out their phone and like take a picture of a scene and send it to us for like a web story. But really the heart of the story, for us at least, always is in this video that they shoot every day. Can you talk a little bit about what their reaction was? And then again this year to do it again, were they more receptive? Were they more excited? What was that like?
I think, like, although video is extremely valuable and it's one of my favorite art forms, I think there's a certain story that is told through still photography that can't be told any other way. And so last year I could tell they were like, the gears were turning when they were doing it. That we hadn't really, it was a trust me process. This year they knew what was happening. They knew their work was going on the wall. So I could feel them having like a baseline knowledge and then building on top of that. Like Jacoby, for example, not only took the photos, but he did this like sort of digital collage on top of his photos that ended up like really, I was telling Deanna, their like artistic prowess really came out and their style really came out this year. Like looking at Nikita's photos side by side, I was like, yes, like she shoots still photography a certain way. And then Jacoby did his collage with all of his photos. So I was like, he has this certain style with his photos. And so...
And and those are things you can't really grasp unless you go to see this art in person. Like the video is a really great way of kind of showing people how we've grown this to be bigger than last year. But really, the digital collage work that Jacoby did really is a great example of how a lot of the art from our own photojournalists was really elevated this year. And we saw folks trying it out who really were very excited to just like get a camera, and they're like, even if my photos aren't chosen, like I want to just at least try this. So then the next year I can be a little bit more prepared to actually shoot still photography. And that's really cool. I think in a lot of workspaces, when you can do something that's out of the mold, out of the norm, it's a way of like reinvigorating your passion. And we have seen that with those photojournalists. Jacoby and Nikita are both turning their own video stories for Black History Month. They've been out there like shooting stand-ups, like doing tracking
told
stories.
Me he's going to front his story, and I was like,
yeah,
you're a journalist too? Like, what? You're a reporter? What?
I know. And so that, I think, really honors something that I have really tried to I guess like exemplify but push for the last couple of years, but especially since I moved into this role. And I think that Lindsey and I were such a good fit that we moved into our respective roles around the same time, that everyone here is a journalist, right? And that we can be journalists in very different ways, but we're all journalists. And I think that what we've seen is this explosion within our newsroom of people trying different things. We have another producer who is trying her hand at a Black History Month story and reporting for the first time. And even she helped with a lot of the research for the work for the digital photography, the digital collage that Jacoby did, pulling photos of our previous attorney generals so that it could be used for this collage that he worked on to showcase Jay Jones and his history making. So it's been really awesome to watch, really, those creative juices flowing like across the newsroom.
Yeah, it seemed like Black History Month we were gearing up for it. It was right around the corner, and everybody else was gearing up for it too. Like,
Yeah, they were waiting and ready this year instead of being like, oh, I have to take a still photo. That's
right.
Kind of weird.
Everybody was like, it's coming up.
Yeah, that's really cool. And I think with the creation of your role, Deanna, and Lindsey's role, like that really kind of set it all in motion for people to be like, oh, wait, I can think outside of what my job description is. I know it inspired me last year to do like a couple nap packages because I was like, Lindsey can do it. Like I definitely can like try it at least. And I did, and it was so much fun. Like those are, when I look back at last year, that was some of my favorite times of the year was when I was like working on Minds in Motion nap package because like it was near and dear to my heart. So
yeah, exactly.
I think it's been so cool to see that happen in our newsroom, like you said. And I want to bring up some of the photos that you sent me, Lindsey, of this is artwork from the Black Artists Alliance,
correct?
Right?
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about these?
From Muzi.
Sure. This piece is by P. Muzi Branch, which is an individual that we've been working with very closely through this whole process. So what the role that he played was he already has this group of artists from Virginia and beyond, and we sent him our topics and our pitches and what we are expecting our stories to look like, and then he sent us pieces and art pieces that they already had that he thought would work well.
Yeah, where he thought like thematically they were really complementary. And this one is called, I just was pulling up the list. This one's called Born in the USA, and which really spoke to this like segment of our exhibit about how Black music and the art forms that we see today across like many genres were born in the USA by Black Americans, whether that's blues, folk, country, rock and roll, hip hop, like all of those things were born in the USA. And his piece there just like fits so well with the people we were profiling here in Richmond who've become like not only like history makers themselves, but like are building on the legacies of the people before them.
And not only is this a visual experience, but it's also an auditory experience.
Exciting.
Which you can see, I mean, like music is meant to be heard, so we can look at these pieces all we want, but then we also have a section where you can hear some of the music from the artists that we're featuring.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
I'm
I love
so
that.
excited about that.
Yeah.
We had to like order new things in to be able to accommodate this. And like, I think the biggest thing about it is that like Lindsey and I's brains are just like super in sync. Like we're always thinking what the other person is thinking, or as soon as somebody says an idea, we're like, yes, let's do that. So
It's a whole
I
bunch
think,
of
like,
yes and.
It's always yes and.
Or it's more so like Deanna goes, and I go, da-da-da-da-da.
It's just like finishing each other's thoughts, and like it makes it really easy to work together on things like this. But it's just like as soon as one of us brings up something, it's just like, yes, bet, let's do it.
Yeah. That's amazing. All right, here's another one. I wish I had the titles of these two. You sent them to me.
Yeah,
and
this is by Vashti Woods. It's for John, I believe. Yes, for John. And we loved the portraiture in this painting. And it just like felt like it worked so well with some of the other portraits that we had on that wall. Oh my goch, it's beautiful.
It really
when you
is.
look at it, it's so striking. Wait until you see it in person.
Right.
It just like blows you away.
Yes.
It's a great piece, and I'm really excited for people to see it alongside our piece.
And we paired it with our photog Nikita's portrait of somebody who is preserving Black history in Hanover. So we thought those worked well together.
Yeah. This is a quilt.
Yeah, it is.
We have texture too.
Yes, we do.
Yeah, and there's like a whole section that has texture. So there's a little like a little sneak peek, a little teaser.
Yeah.
What I love about this is that quilting has such a strong history in the Black American experience. I remember when I was young and the Underground Railroad Freedom Center opened in Cincinnati, and when you walked up into this rotunda, they have this like huge slave cabin that was moved from Kentucky into the inside of the Underground Railroad Freedom Center. They like rebuilt it. And across the wall from it is this huge quilt that is made up of all of these quilts from different that were passed down from different families that ran abolition houses, right? The quilts were the way that a lot of slaves knew that a house was safe.
They hung them outside,
Yes,
right?
right, exactly. And so like they created a tapestry of some of these like historic quilts. And so having this piece be in our show and like really be the first thing that invites people in as soon as they walk in to like, this isn't just an art experience. It truly is a Black history experience. It's showing some of the history we have here in Richmond. I think is just extraordinary.
Yeah, it's intentional. I mean, you guys are very intentional about the placement and all of the things that you do with this exhibit.
Yeah.
Yes.
Here's another one. I'm going to bring this up full too so people can see it a little bit closer.
Yeah, so this piece, I want to get the name correct because it has a lovely name, and it's...
I will say this piece is paired next to a story that we have about like a generational, like a family that is in the medical field. They've been like passing the experience, like the the career like down and down and down. And they are well established in Jackson Ward and have been for a really long time. So you see that portrait right next to this one, which completely makes sense, obviously. As you can see.
Yeah, and that family was very instrumental in Richmond Community Hospital and making sure that Black Richmonders had a place to be seen, to be heard by doctors in a time when Black patients could not go to white hospitals because they were segregated. And so from remedies to wildest dreams is what this one is called. And you can see some of those elements in the text that are alongside this. But I think what's really wonderful is that Black history just really spans such a wide swath. Even in times where there is struggle, everything that we have, every piece illustrates how joy and success was able to be found even amid times of struggle. Black people could not go to white hospitals, could not go often to white colleges, but we created HBCUs. We created this space for Black people to learn medicine and to be able to treat their own communities. And so the fact that it is easy now for both artists and journalists to find that history exemplified even today, I think is really cool.
And something that I think has really blossomed out of y'all's partnership is just this added element of 8 News in the community. Can you talk a little bit about, I mean, obviously this is the second year, so we're continuing that push into the community, but can you talk a little bit about what the reaction from people was last year and kind of what you expect this year at the exhibit?
Yeah. Well, I want Lindsey to handle the first part of it because she was really instrumental in why we even brought this into a community space. So, yeah.
Yeah. I think, like, honestly, my role stems from the need for community spaces. And I think the more and more we as a society lean into, like, AI and technology and all these things, the more we depart from our innate need to have each other and, like, have community and have real conversations and stuff. And I think at the end of the day, that will always prevail. And so I am just trying to foster that. I think that that's how you make the best connection is face-to-face and talking to each other like real people and really knowing the people. And, you know, we cover news in our own community. So, again, this is stemming from a passion that I have, which is third spaces and community spaces. And an area that I find myself in often, I find myself both comfortable and uncomfortable in a healthy way, is art galleries. And so last year when I introduced this idea to Deanna, I was like, let's do an art gallery. Like, I'm passionate about this community space, blah, blah, blah. And then it just so happened to be like Black History Month around the corner. So I kind of pegged it with that as an opportunity. We have this set of stories that we cover every year. Why not put it on a wall? And that was an opportunity to invite people in. I think the community response we got last year was extremely positive. I think that this is a need for people to meet each other face to face and really get to know one another. One thing I'm looking forward to this year is Artworks is a large space, and there will be exhibits that are not only that are other
than ours.
So there will be like a juried exhibit behind ours on the other walls and everything. So there will be a lot of people walking through the doors that have no idea that we are even displaying. And I'm looking forward to meeting them, shaking hands with them, saying hey, and talking about our project, and then also learning about theirs.
Well, and that's what's really different this year is that we are we really worked hard, Lindsey and I. We did a postmortem, almost immediately after we finished this last year. It was early March, about how we wanted to do this differently. And one of the big things was that we wanted our work up in time for Artworks' typical Fourth Fridays opening reception. So last year, there was just no way to turn it around in that time. So we had our own small opening reception just to invite people in to see our corner of the gallery. And so this year on Fourth Friday, so on January 23rd, we have this opening reception opportunity to be able to reach the hundreds of people who just typically come out to Artworks, like she said, who may not even know exactly what we're doing, may not have seen our show because it was only like up for 4 or 5 days last year. And there was a snowstorm and everything. This year it's 5 weeks because
we still have a snowstorm this year.
Yes, exactly.
You guys
Saturday,
bring the snow.
okay?
You guys
Saturday.
bring the snow.
Yeah.
We'll be there.
Yeah. So we're blessed with 5 Fridays in January, which means that we get this bonus week. And so for 5 weeks, people will be able to see this exhibit. And new this year, you will be able to purchase the photography that from our artists. So alongside these, professional, this pays the bills artists, we have folks who you'll be able to buy their artwork, and it is going to support arts programs in the Southside community. And that was something that was really important to me too. When we were looking for art galleries, Lindsey had this great spreadsheet, but the more we were like looking at both Artworks and Southside Contemporary was another gallery that we looked at, but we were just on such a tight time frame last year. We couldn't end up working with them. But I realized as we were walking through those areas that it was really important in this community that's being increasingly gentrified that I live in. Like, I am part of that gentrification, right? But that in this gentrifying space that people who are, born and raised in this community, that it's a space that they can walk to and see Black history on display, that students who go to any of the schools that walk down Whole Street can access this artwork. And I think that once I realized that could happen in that space, it was like really important for us to be on the South Side if possible, or somewhere where really people could just walk in and see some of Richmond or Central Virginia's Black history, but some of their own Black history on display.
Yeah, and I mean, these are pictures of people that they will maybe meet in their own communities. These aren't pictures of people who knows where across the country. Like, these are people that live here and work here. So they could see somebody on the wall and be like, oh my gosh, that's my mom's friend.
Yeah.
Or like, that's my doctor.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
that's awesome. I had no idea you were going to be selling them. That's amazing.
Yeah,
That's really
yeah.
cool.
So we're really, really very excited about that component of it, and being able to like foster more opportunity and resources for arts education on the South Side. So very cool.
Yeah. So this opens tomorrow at Artworks on Whole Street. What time should people get there?
6 to 8 o'clock is the opening reception. And so that is like your chance to get like the sneak peek first view of the exhibits for
and to see a lot
February.
of us, right?
And to see a lot of us. Oh my
there.
gosh. We were like out in force for our own reception last year.
Yes.
And so we know that a lot of people are planning to be there. I was just talking to Eric last night when we were on the desk, and as soon as he gets off the desk at 6:30, he's planning to go out there. I'll already be out there because I'm doing live shots out there tomorrow. But yeah, our photojournalist who took the actual photos will be there for the artist reception before and still there during the reception. So if you want to meet the people who are out in your community all the time telling stories and taking these great photographs, like you have that opportunity to meet them. And I know that some of the bar artists will be there as well. So it's cool.
Awesome.
I know we saw like a lot of viewers come out to our like tiny reception last year who like some of them drove. Like one person drove like an hour to come to our reception last year. And so we got a chance to like come face to face with viewers. So viewers out there, please, we'd love to say hello.
Yes, please. And if you can't make it tomorrow, it'll be up for 5 weeks.
Yeah,
so you should be able to go when Artworks is open, right?
Yeah, you have until February 21st?
Yes, whatever that Saturday is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for joining me today.
Yes.
Thanks for having us.
Of course.
so much.
Please come out and see the exhibit. It's going to be awesome. Bye.